Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. My name is Dr. Curt and you can see you're in my living room, and Katie's got the exact same living room.
Yes, but in reverse.
One chair. That's what I got. One chair and one plant.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. So we've got some exciting health information to share, and we really appreciate you getting on the call today or watching the recording if you're doing that from home at another time.
You bet. Thanks for being with us and taking the time. It's a Saturday morning down there and Friday night up here in beautiful Fargo, North Dakota. We're finally getting some nice weather.
You're coming into summer now, so you're in spring, is that right? And summer soon?
Yep. So we moved from a week ago, it was snowing, now it's 80 degrees.
Oh, fantastic.
You betcha.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, great. All right. Well, we'll get
Katie,
started.
thanks for being with us, and everybody, thanks for joining us tonight and watching the video. If you're watching the video, if you're on Facebook, make a comment. If you're watching us on Zoom, make a comment as well. And we're glad that you're here. Glad that you're spending some time learning about how to be healthy. Katie, when you said you wanted to talk about free radicals, I thought, a lot of people don't really understand it. They've heard free radicals, they've heard about it, they've heard about antioxidants, but in a lot of cases, I would bet that most people don't have a clue what a free radical really is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so it's really important to know because, it's part of the aging process, major contributing factor to aging and disease and illness. And so if you have some knowledge about it, then you can take some steps to mitigate it as much as possible. So I think that's why it's really important, isn't it?
That's right. So Katie, okay, you've heard of toxins and you've heard of poisons, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just really quickly, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but just, tell people what's the difference between a toxin and a poison.
Yeah, so a toxin would be something that you perhaps are exposed to on a daily basis in a small amount. And over time, it, can build up in the body and cause damage. It can cause, oxidative damage healthy cells. And so it's not something that happens overnight. So when you see these ingredients in products and you're like, oh, it's okay, well, it doesn't kill me, I'm not dead yet. No, but that toxin is continually chipping away at your health day in, day out. Whereas a poison is something that you would take would have pretty much an immediate effect, and could risk, I guess, potential death, quite quickly.
Right.
But the two, often people use the word interchangeably as well. And they have, what's called the poisons list, which is put out by the TGA, and pretty much every natural ingredient is listed on that, and they call it a poisons list. But it's actually, it's somewhat misleading because people think, oh, well, everything on there's a poison, but that's, not actually the case. Sure, if you took anything, in extreme amounts, depending on what it was, could cause a lot of damage, but that's really not its intent, the word. So, it can be quite confusing, can't it?
You bet, because let's take a look at gasoline, right? Gasoline. I mean, if you drank some, it's not going to kill you. It's still considered a poison. It's poisonous. It's not going to kill you. You look at strychnine, different things like that. Cyanide. I mean, it can kill you, but in small amounts, it really doesn't do that. But if you add, like Katie was saying, you add those small amounts over an accumulation of time, it actually can cause some pretty bad damage. And so when we're looking at free radicals, the big thing that I like to get across is think of them, free radicals are something that are formed really when you eat, Katie, and you burn fuel, you burn energy in your body, you're creating free radicals, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a few points on a slide covering that as well when you actually do create it. So I did take your advice, and I've got the stuff pretty simple. It's not hardly scientific or anything. It's just explaining the basic concepts so that people have a better understanding, and then how it occurs, and then what you can do to kind of mitigate that and minimize. So yeah, I've got this disclaimer, a slide here first, just to cover ourselves. So nothing in this presentation is designed to treat, diagnose, prevent, or cure. This is general information about natural ingredients, herbs, vitamins, and minerals. The information here, we're also sharing medical research and studies that are published through medical journals, medical websites that you can go and look up yourself. And, you know, if you are unwell, do consult your healthcare provider. So that's really important to disclaimer.
Very
You thought
important.
you'd like this picture here, Curt, how stuff works.
Yeah, exactly. Let you take a look at that. UV light, metabolism, just your body metabolizing, smoking, pollution, radiation. All of these things can cause this damage, this free radical damage. And basically, what it means is that when you form a free radical, you're stealing an electron from a cell. You're stealing an electron, you're stealing an oxygen, because an oxygen is an electron. You're stealing that oxygen, you're stealing that electron from that cell, and now that cell is missing an electron, and so it turns into a free radical scavenger. And what that means is that anytime it bumps into another healthy cell, it has a high chance of stealing an electron from that other cell, and then now that's going to cause another free radical. And then that free radical is going to bump into another cell and steal an electron, and so on and so forth. So you can see that it's like a chain reaction that starts to happen.
Yeah, that's right. And so you start to accumulate all this DNA damage. And at first, it may not be an issue, right? And you won't notice the effects so much. You know, you might be in your 20s, 30s. But as you start to get into your 40s, 50s, particularly 60s, 70s, and 80s, then it starts to become very noticeable, and that accumulation of damage that you've been chipping away over the years starts to kind of show itself in all sorts of ways. And negative effects of those are things what we've just sort of touched on lightly, but, you know, generally aging. That's why one of the reasons we get older, we start to get wrinkles, we start to get more diseases and illness. You know, cancer, disruption of normal cell activities is basically what's happening. You know, other things like heart disease and overall DNA damage, which is really highlighted in that slide.
Back up to that slide just one step. So I wanted to just throw this in there because, you know, I'm trying to get people to understand so they can walk away and they can have a good picture of this in their brain. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've all heard of bad cholesterol, right? You know, I won't get into low density, high density, anything like that. I'm just going to say bad cholesterol, right? Katie, you've heard of that. Everybody on the call, everybody listening to the recording, you've heard of bad cholesterol. Okay. Well, bad cholesterol, when you eat food that has bad fat in it, what causes it to be damaging? Well, it turns into a free radical. And when it turns into a free radical, what happens is that bad cholesterol now gets real sticky, and it sticks to the walls of your arteries.
Right.
So that's how bad cholesterol turns into a free radical, and it causes the damage inside the arteries. Hopefully you can visualize that. If you don't get anything else out of this call tonight, just understand that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, great. So that's fairly straightforward. And then I like this picture because it's kind of a cute graphic. And I guess, you know, you've got your antioxidant. So that is there to protect the healthy cell. And then you've got the free radical coming in to cause the damage. So, you know, that's really important just to understand that kind of basic concept. But we also are going to talk a bit about today is resveratrol. So resveratrol is, you know, really considered an antioxidant, but it does work slightly, you know, it works differently. Its mechanism to other antioxidants, and we'll touch on that in the next slide. But it can help to neutralize the free radicals. It donates the electron. It stabilizes the molecule and stops the chain reaction, which Dr. Curt's talked about. And it can help to prevent or reduce oxidative damage in the body. This is why consuming antioxidant-rich foods or supplements such as resveratrol or others may offer many health benefits. So that sort of sums that up a little. And I know I've added this in here too, just to quickly touch on. I haven't done much on it, just one slide there, just to talk about. And you hear often people in the health industry, anyone that's kind of a health nut or into, you know, natural products, you've heard them talk about the ORAC value of particular foods. So, you know, I've got some points here on the slide. Do you want to touch on that?
Well, basically, the ORAC value is this. If you take a look at the ability of a product to donate that oxygen, right? To donate that oxygen so that now you can reduce, or you can get rid of the free radical. You neutralize the free radical by putting an electron back on the cell, and all of a sudden it's neutral. Well, oxygen radical absorption capacity, what that is, ORAC value, is that it's a measure of how much ability does that particular substance have for giving off that oxygen. Like Katie said, resveratrol, it gives off that oxygen really quickly. There's other things that don't do that very easily, and sometimes the oxygen is bound so tightly to the substance that it can't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so it was developed by scientists at the National Institutes of Health as a way to measure the ability of antioxidants to neutralize free radicals. So I guess the caveat there is that it's really been shown in test tubes. And so they're not always sure how it relates 100% in the human body, because our body's so complex and there's so many things and interactions going on at one time. It's really hard to kind of pinpoint, but it's nevertheless, it is a good guide for trying to understand this topic, I guess. And it's a nice little picture here with just foods to give you some idea of which foods have the higher value of antioxidants compared to others. I'm just trying to move my bar out of the way here. Actually, this is not the highest, but there's higher things. Actually, the highest one is clove, which is a herb, which doesn't taste too nice, but I guess you use clove in cooking a bit, but there's not really much that's added to many recipes because it's such a potent herb that actually has an extremely high antioxidant capacity. But if you look at this list, you'll see that mostly you're looking at your kind of fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, those kind of things are the highest value. And that's why, and that's really why they stress eating, your vegetables, eating your fruit. The recommendation of the guidelines is 2 pieces of fruit a day, 5 servings of vegetables. And this is one of the main reasons is, making sure you're getting plenty of those natural antioxidants, which are found in these foods. So I'll just go to the next slide here. So resveratrol is an antioxidant. It's found in some plants, including grapes, berries, peanuts. It has many potential health benefits. We've mentioned that it does have antioxidant properties, so it can protect the cells from damage caused by harmful molecules. And we've got some ripping research articles, which I'm going to show you at the end. So definitely worth, if you've got a pen and paper, by all means, grab that now and, jot some of this down, or go back and watch this and write down some of the studies and then go check them out for yourself, because it's very interesting. It has potential health benefits to reduce inflammation, heart health, and even reduce the risk of certain cancers. So how is it actually different? So resveratrol is somewhat different to other antioxidants because its mechanism of action is different. So it's found to activate a specific group of enzymes known as the sirtuins, or sirtuin genes. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, Curt?
Well, basically, they found that there's certain set of genes. There's 7 of them, and the SIRT1 gene is the one that repairs damaged DNA. So people say, yeah, but how do I know if I got damaged DNA? Trust me, you have damaged DNA. You have hundreds, thousands of DNA that get damaged every single day from stress and from all sorts of things. And resveratrol activates the SIRT1 gene, and then the SIRT1 gene goes and repairs that damaged DNA. So that's probably one of the biggest things that makes resveratrol so important for anti-aging.
Yeah, 100%. And it is relatively poorly absorbed. So there is special ways that you can take it to help increase the absorption. And we'll touch on that towards the end, and Dr. Curt will comment on that. So you want to be really mindful of that, because not all resveratrol is the same. Because you say, oh, I could just go out and buy it. You want to be really mindful of the type of resveratrol you're taking, who's producing it and all that. And we'll summarize that at the end, just what to look out for when checking on that. So powerful antioxidants. So I also want to talk about other ingredients that are antioxidants that are natural that people often consume, and so some of these well, I've got a number of these listed, so we'll cover the first two. So blueberry juice extract, and so the health benefits have been attributed to important number of bioactive compounds in the blueberries. Blueberry extract is known as an antioxidant, anti-tumor, anti-mutagenic, anti-diabetic effects, and prevention of cardiovascular diseases. So there's lots of studies you can find on that particular ingredient. I've put the reference there to the PubMed study where that actual information came from. Pomegranate juice is another popular one, Curt. Pomegranate juice is also known as a really powerful antioxidant, is known with helping support people with cancer. It's great for vitamin C boosting and immune support. That study was published by the National Institutes of Health, lists pomegranate as one of the natural remedies that may help prevent prostate cancer, Curt. They did a study in 2014, notes that polyphenols in pomegranate may aid in the preventing the growth of cancer cells related to prostate. That was on medicalnewstoday.com, and the article references at the bottom. So really interesting information out there on particular natural ingredients, isn't there?
You bet. You bet. That's interesting. I was just talking before the call. I was talking with a friend of mine who's been battling prostate cancer for I guess it's been the last 15 years now. So I'm gonna have to pass that on to him. Yeah.
So check out the studies and have a look for yourself. So another great one, we've got sour cherry juice concentrate. So inflammation and oxidative stress are important, factors or contributing factors to cardiovascular disease. And they did some findings from a study, 12-week consumption of tart cherry juice. They found that it lowered systolic blood pressure and low density lipoprotein, so LDL cholesterol in older adults. So that was an interesting study too. There was another study here done by the university, a groundbreaking study done in 2010. Because it's high with phytochemicals, they found that it helped marathon runners recover their muscle function after intense exercise. So it's just a remarkable health properties that they've found with this particular ingredient. The reference to that study from the university is on there. So another great ingredient. So you can see how if you had all these ingredients together, you could imagine the power they would pack, couldn't you, Curt?
You betcha. Yeah. Putting them all together, make them all work together, because even like the blueberry extract, they found that blueberry extract combined with the resveratrol, which is the grape skin extract, they found that the two of them complement each other, make each other work really, really well.
Yeah, and so that's where the synergy comes in, isn't it? So 1 + 1 doesn't necessarily equal 2. It could be 1 + 1 = 4. So when you start combining the ingredients together, they have a greater effect when they're combined together than compared to them standing alone. So you've got here another great one, cranberry juice extract, or cranberry juice concentrate rather. People are probably familiar with this. I know a lot of people use cranberry juice extract kind of products for urinary tract infections and help with that. So they've also found that with cranberry supplementation, they did a study. They found associated improvements in visual and episodic memory in aged participants when compared to the placebo. So really helped to improve brain function. There also decreased low density cholesterol. So another great ingredient there. We've got a few more. We've got the Japanese Soho. How would you pronounce that? Sohora?
Saphora.
Yep. Yeah, so it's what quercetin supplements are made from. So quercetin you would have heard of. This is pretty widely spoken about, especially in recent times. It's becoming more well known. So it's an anti-inflammatory, anti-allergenic, anti-cancerous, and cardiac protection type ingredient. There's plenty of studies there on that particular ingredient. Do you want to touch or say anything about that?
Yeah, I was just going to say that quercetin. It's in the same family as resveratrol, and it's in the same family as ficitin, and those are phenolic, phenolic, phenolic compounds, and they work on the body differently than differently than rosemary leaf extract, differently than green tea leaf extract. So it falls in that same family. But in the last 3 years, without mentioning what's been happening for the last 3 years, they found that resveratrol and quercetin, as well as ficitin, were all very, very important in helping us fight this invisible thing that's been attacking us.
Yeah. I know you love the next one, Curt. Do you want to touch on that one, the rosemary leaf extract?
You bet. Yeah. So, there's a group of herbs or extracts, plant extracts. Sage is one of them, and rosemary leaf extract is another one that come from this the same family, and they help to really boost antioxidant benefits in your body, and so it's been used a lot.
Yeah, fantastic. And there's a study on that one that's from ScienceDirect.com on biochemistry, genetics, and molecular biology. Green tea leaf extract, another powerful polyphenol antioxidant. Green tea is widely known for its health benefits. I'm sure most of you, anyone who's been into health products would know about the benefits of green tea. And there's a good article there that you can reference. Healthline.com talks about the benefits there. So great information. This is an interesting one, the orange extract. It's actually got a registered trademark name, that particular ingredient, Advantra, I guess that's how you pronounce it. So grass ingredients are generally regarded as safe. And this particular extract has been used to promote thermogenic benefits and support metabolism and base metabolic rate. So really great for weight maintenance, weight management. It actually helps to release fatty acids into the bloodstream when the body breaks down fats and lipids.
Excellent.
So that is an interesting one. And then the green coffee extract. And again, people have probably heard of this one as well, but that can help to support improving blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and it has really powerful antioxidant properties. So there's a reference from that one down the bottom. You can go check that out at medicalnewstoday.com articles. So you can see that these ingredients all combine together. And with our last two here, plum juice extract, the polyphenols are found to have a potent antioxidant, anti-inflammatory effect. There's a reference there to the PubMed article. And markers of inflammation and oxidation dropped by 43 and 32% when prune polyphenols were used. Researchers are continuing to study the benefits of prune polyphenols in humans. And then, of course, the last one there is grape skin extract. So this is where they get the resveratrol from, Dr. Curt?
Yep, they get it from that, and then they get it from another plant, from a root, actually from the rapeseed. So it's not grape seed, but it's rapeseed, and right. And they get it from the root of that plant.
Right.
And
fantastic.
Yeah, so like in certain countries, you can't bring in resveratrol from grape skin, but you can bring it in from the rapeseed extract. It's weird.
Right. Yeah. Okay, great. You can imagine, like, if you all those together, you have pretty powerful group of herbal extracts and nutrition right there. So we've just got some studies here. Just you can go and check these out for yourself. This is on the PubMed article. So quercetin extracted from the pronounce it again for me. The Sophora, is it?
Yep, Sophora.
Sophora, yeah, flour improves growth performance, nutrient digestibility. That's a tricky one. Sessile microbiota, organ indexes, and breast quality in broiler chicks. So that was interesting. Obviously, that was done on animals, but they found it to have quite a lot of benefit there. We've got plum juice is effective in mitigating cognitive defects in aged rats. So again, antioxidant studies. Berry juice unravels a multitude of health benefits. So this is to do with the tart cherry extract. Is known for its phytochemicals. That was actually the reference regarding the runners and recovering from exercise. Chronic consumption of cranberries. So taking, I love how they use some of these words. Really, cranberries taken in very large amounts over a 12-week period. They found that it improved memory and the region of the brain in older adults. So this study was particularly interesting. So you can read that they found that they did a 12-week study with 60 adults aged between 50 and 80. They did a cognitive assessment, including memory function beforehand, and the results found that after 12 weeks of supplementation, they found improvements in visual episodic memory in aged participants when compared to the placebo, increased regional perfusion in the right, some of these medical terms are tricky, interforeal cortex, might be pronouncing that wrong, basically in the brain, nice way to say the brain section of the brain, Yeah, and it basically helped to decrease the LDL cholesterol. So it's pretty amazing. So they found that it definitely had a benefit, and that was obviously taken in larger amounts, that particular ingredient. We mentioned also the tart cherry juice, biomarkers on inflammation and oxidative stress in older adults. So that had great benefits there. We've got dried plum polyphenol. You can see these are all basically the extracts of different fruits and their benefits, their antioxidant benefits. So this, now we've got a few studies here that I just wanted to point out. These ones are on resveratrol. So jump on pubmed.gov and go and check out resveratrol and have a look through some of the studies. They found this one was regarding breast cancer. Do you want to comment a little bit on this one?
You bet. Well, I'll just tell a story. I mean, I've used resveratrol, recommended it for people that have breast cancer, and I've seen amazing results. You know, we can't say cure, treat, anything like that, but
Yeah.
Combined with prudent medical care, you know, we'll just say it that way, and medical diagnosis with the treatment with their doctor, and then using resveratrol along with that, we've seen some amazing turnarounds.
Yeah, just incredible ingredient. Resveratrol also has been studied for its mechanisms, preventative effects of age-related diseases. And so here's another great article just discussing how it could have a lot of potential in that area. And they found that increases lifespan. It says here, resveratrol increases the lifespan of several model organisms. I guess they're animal studies regulating oxidative stress, energy metabolism, nutrient sensing, epigenetics, by primarily activating the sirtuin, and Dr. Curt's already touched on the activation of the sirtuin gene. We've talked about this one, you know, and how resveratrol helps with emerging respiratory viral infections. Yeah, so we probably want to be mindful of the words we're saying so we don't get blocked or something. But, you know, you can go check these studies out. So if you've got a pen, write down the article title, and you can go and have a look and have a read of that, try and understand a bit more about that. And again, we've got resveratrol with cervical cancer here, and they're sharing some evidence from vitro and in vitro studies. So really another great article. We've talked about that, so boosting immune system. There's literally hundreds of articles like this, so do go check it out. You know, lots of medical references there. And as Dr. consult with your doctor. You know, these sort of ingredients can be taken in conjunction with your, you know, with medical treatment that you're having. Obviously, once you've consulted your doctor, and it can work really well when you combine things together. A really powerful effect. So, kind of in summary, if you wanted to get more antioxidants in your diet, the first thing you want to do is be eating plenty of fruit and vegetables. And I talked about that at the start of the presentation. You know, 2 pieces of fruit, 5 servings of vegetables a day. It's actually quite a lot. It's a big commitment to doing that every day. And especially if you're busy and in a hurry, and I can pretty much say most people probably would not be doing that. Even for myself, and I'm really, must say, I can be quite disciplined. And it is, you know, I have to make a conscious effort every day to do it. And, you know, to make sure I get all those servings in. So it is a challenge. So the other thing to consider is, you know, having your green tea or teas that are higher in antioxidants, eating, you know, whole grains. They're rich in ferulic acid and phenic acid. So that can help there. Herbs and spices, which we talked on, turmeric, cinnamon, or oregano. Nuts are really beneficial. They've got lots of antioxidants. And then at the bottom, I've put consider supplements. While it's best to get antioxidants from whole food, supplements definitely can be helpful, especially if you're not getting enough from your diet alone. So you want to be considering that. And then,
Katie, before we move on, go back to that last slide.
Yeah.
And I was just going to say this about, you know, when you talk about snacking on nuts and seeds, you know, if you're buying raw nuts and seeds and you want to consume them, the best way to consume them is you want to do what's called sprouting them. You want to sprout them. What I would do is I would take and use a probiotic mixed with water, and let the nuts or seeds soak for boy, I don't know, Katie, do you know how long you have to let them soak for them to? They're not really sprouting. It's not like growing a vine out of them.
I think 20. I think overnight normally, but at least 8 hours. It would be 8 to 24 hours from memory.
Yeah. So let them sit in the water with the probiotics. Let them sit in the water for about 12 hours overnight, 24 hours, and then let them air dry. So air dry them back out. Now all of a sudden it gets off. The plant creates a covering on those nuts and seeds to protect them, and it's to make it so that birds and rodents don't eat the nuts and seeds, and because it makes it taste bad. But what it does, it makes it so the nut and seed doesn't actually break down in your body. But if you sprout it first, if you let it soak in water and then air dry it and eat it, then you're going to get the best benefit from it. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, that's really helpful. So you can buy nuts like that where they've been soaked, but I've generally noted that they're twice the price, because obviously the person or whoever's manufacturing has gone to a lot of trouble to then, soak the seed. And so they are a lot more expensive. So if you can do it yourself, that will save you a bit of money. And there are many, as Curt's pointed out, health benefits there. So that's really important. And just to add in a story here, I've got a situation with a family member, and we've talked about how at the start of this presentation, how, things accumulate over a lifetime, particularly toxins and building up. It doesn't happen, the next day. And for some people, they're fortunate enough to go through most of their life and not have to worry about it. They, may be pretty much eating what they want, not cutting back, just, having drinks here and there, eating whatever food they want, not exercising, and generally just cruising along most of their life, their whole life. And then they get to an age, maybe late 70s, early 80s, and, things start deteriorating a lot quicker because, by the time you've reached that age, you're actually aging about 3 days for every day that you're alive. Your body's breaking down at a much more rapid rate. So if you kind of don't change things at that point, like if you don't, start exercising more, tidy up your diet, if you've got problems with memory and you're older, even younger, really should cut out the alcohol at that point. It's getting someone to make those changes at that point. It's really hard. And I don't know, it's just that people, well, I'm speaking of family members, aren't prepared to do that and make changes because they've lived their whole life a certain way. But to be honest, I actually feel like if they wanted to enjoy the rest of the time that they have here to the best of their ability in terms of health, then it would be required to make some of those changes to improve their function. But it is really challenging when people don't want to kind of make changes.
That's right.
At the very least, then even considering taking perhaps a supplement, obviously consult with your doctor if you've got a medical condition, but that could support, that could even be of great benefit and could make a big difference. And I know we've talked about, Curt, before, there is a particular, particular products, if they're produced by pharmaceuticals and then they've gone through their testing and then they can start making claims. But really you can find these ingredients, are around elsewhere, and they do have great benefits. So if you are considering taking a resveratrol kind of antioxidant drink, these are the recommendations I'd make, and I'm sure Curt would agree with these. So you definitely want to purchase from a reputable manufacturer that does not fairy dust. Do you want to just tell people what fairy dusting is, Curt?
You bet. Well, there's, most products, most vitamins are sold based on cost. So what they do is, there's nobody really regulating most of these companies. And what they do is they put it on the label, and then they take and they put, sometimes they don't put any in there at all. They just, they just say it's in there. But fairy dusting means you're putting very little in, just so you can put it on the label.
Yeah. So you want to make sure they're reputable, that's what's in the product is actually there. You want to be purchasing a product from a CGMP manufacturer. So it's a certified good manufacturing practice. They follow a set of guidelines and regulations. They're set by the FDA to make sure that their products are consistently manufactured and they meet safety and quality standards. Now, if you're purchasing a product like a resveratrol antioxidant drink, you want to get one that's using a nanotechnology, because you can make the resveratrol up to 250 times more bioavailable than an encapsulated resveratrol product. And that's really important. And also the way it's packaged too is important too, isn't it, Curt? Because when resveratrol gets exposed to air, it is quickly destroyed.
Yep, it oxidizes and starts forming free radicals.
Right. And so how do they avoid that? So if it was going to be in a liquid, what would a company do to avoid that?
Well, some of these companies, what they're doing is they're actually taking and so that the resveratrol doesn't get exposed to oxygen, what they're doing is they're putting it in the bottle and they're having the bottle filled with something else, another type of a gas or a liquid. So as we're pushing it in, putting the resveratrol in, it's pushing the other gas, the other liquid out.
Right, and that helps to preserve it. Yeah.
Yep, and it prevents it from getting exposed to oxygen. You betcha.
Yeah, and of course in dark packaging, so it's not in contact with direct sunlight. And then, if you are going to take a resveratrol product, consider taking one that is additional antioxidants, such as those ones we've gone through this evening or this morning, depending where you are in the world. So yeah, that's kind of it. Just give you an overview of radicals, antioxidants, and ORAC value of antioxidants. So hopefully you found that interesting, quite insightful. If you would like more information, you can reach out to myself or Dr. Curt, comment wherever you see this video at the bottom, ask for help, or really get back to the person who shared this information with you.
You bet. Get back to the person that shared it with you. Let them know that you'd like to find out more information. We've all got our favorite products. We've got products that we know that work, and that's how you find out what they are, because new rules say we can't tell you about a product on here.
Yep. So we are sharing the information, and then, you can make up your own mind. So hopefully you enjoyed that. We really appreciate you getting on the call, and we look forward to you joining us next time.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening, and enjoy your weekend.
Good night.
Thanks, Katie.
Good day.